Hey, what's up, YouTube? We are back with another video. This time we're going to be discussing whether or not you should be getting Super Season Edition or just the base Helldivers value. A lot of people have been asking me recently because there's a lot of new players coming in. We definitely have those Xbox divers, and we're just going to look at the value at the current place of Super Season Edition because it's definitely changed over time. Because, for instance, the Light SMG was one of the worst off weapons in the game for a long time, but with the weapon attachments and just some general buffs over time, over the last like 9 months since the 60-day update, it's actually become one of the better weapons in the game. Maybe not one of the best, and you definitely don't really need it, but we'll be discussing that today on exactly what I think on it. Let's get into it. So the first thing to see with the Super Season Edition is the armor and the cape. This is what's included with it. It is the Democracy Protects armor, so 50% chance not to perish after taking lethal damage. It's pretty fun. You can do some like silly things with it. It's not one of the better armors in the game, but it at least looks quite nice. The helmet actively blocks your view when you are aiming in third person, so I wouldn't really recommend throwing it on, but it is there. Cape, pretty standard, but the gold foil with the black does look quite nice, so personal preference will prevail. It says Super Season status. Basically, it's that yellow text in the bottom left-hand corner, as you can see, where it says Super Season. That's about it. The next thing we have is Stratagem Hero. It's just a little game that you can play here, and you can like do stratagems and practice them, which is kind of cool. But I will say you do not need Stratagem Hero. If you want to practice, there are plenty of like websites. If you just like Google Stratagem Hero online, you will find a website where you can just play the Stratagem Hero game in a web browser, possibly at work. Just saying. You do not need to buy Super Season Edition in order to get access to a game like that. Next, we have the Knight SMG. We'll take a look at it. It's a light one-handed SMG. It has some ridiculous fire rate. So it's kind of like that P90 kind of esque weapon, but with a rather large magazine because of the customizations. I do find that the customizations completely changed how this gun worked because it had previously really fast fire rate, crazy recoil, and honestly not that big of a magazine. I think it was like 50 rounds base, and now it goes up to 70, which is quite respectable, especially with that fire rate like I was saying before. I like the weapon quite a bit. It's a lot of fun, but it's not the only weapon of this type in the game. If you want to just like get the war bond for Viper Commandos down the line, the Liberator Carbine is a very close proximity to it. You get a little bit more damage, a little bit lower fire rate, but it ends up being very similar. It's not a one-handed weapon, but it's a carbine, so it's an assault rifle that has like more durable damage, for instance. So there's like positive negatives, but it does feel very similar, especially when you put on like the drum mag and stuff like that. It ends up feeling like very similar because you can get that drum mag for the 60 rounds, and it has a pretty damn fast fire rate. The one thing that the Knight had, well, two things that the Knight has, is it's one-handed, and the fact that you can also put it in burst fire, which is pretty cool. The burst fire works quite well with that really fast fire rate of the Knight. It kind of feels like, if you remember like the AN94 from some games where it's like a super fast 2-round burst, this one's 3, but it's like there's almost no recoil and it's just like a nice burst of damage, and you can like one-shot hunters and warriors and stuff like that with the weapon like that, and it's actually pretty decent for taking out Devastators because those 3 rounds can take out a Devastator eye. So it has some like cool utility to it. It is fun, but would I buy Super Season Edition just for that? Not really. Getting into the final part of it does say Steel Veterans Premium War Bond, because previously you just got that War Bond tied into it, but on the 26th, or for anyone that has bought it before, like not too long before, like I don't think they're going to give out what I'm about to talk about to everybody, but I think they're going to give it out to people who have recently bought it. You're going to get a War Bond token, and how the War Bond token is supposed to work is that it's kind of like a voucher for any War Bond in the game when you log in. And they've added a lot of War Bonds, but the War Bond that I would suggest most people grab at the start just because of the sheer amount of power and utility. And if you've watched my Warbond video, check it out on the channel. Highly recommend, where I go through every single Warbond in the game. Democratic Detonation just eclipses everything as far as utility and power. You get some really amazing tools that you can build around while also getting some like seriously powerful weapons and some like good armor to start the game off with. It's not like super unique armor, but it is some good armor. So highly recommend this as you're starting. And it kind of just gets you into that immediately, which is really cool. But I want to stress the fact that you do not need Super Season Edition. And I recommend most people hold off on buying Super Season Edition until they know that they like the game. So if you're thinking of like pre-ordering right now and you're like, don't know which edition, just get the base game. There is an upgrade edition for it. You can just buy that afterwards if you so decide. And I think that's probably the best, especially if you're like jumping in day one and you just don't really know of how much you're going to be playing of Helldivers. I think that's a great way to go. And then, you know, if you're really enjoying the game, you just upgrade later and then you'll get access to the War Bond, the Knight, the armor, so on and so forth. You're not missing out on anything. You'll still get the pre-order bonus and stuff like that. Those are my thoughts on the Super Season Edition. It is a pretty hefty price for everything you get, but I do think that if you're enjoying the game, you want to support it, and you find value in the Knight and the War Bond especially, I do think it can be a pretty reasonable pickup, but it's definitely on the more expensive side as far as DLCs go. You'll get a lot more bang for your buck as you will if you just buy super credits and then buy war bonds technically. Definitely, like, as far as value goes, you could definitely spend your money in better ways on Helldivers, but if you find the Knight to be particularly appealing to you and the armor to be your thing and you really want the stratagem hero, I can see that. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Thanks so much for watching. Do consider leaving a like on the video and coming by on stream. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below on whether or not you would recommend it for any of my long-term Helldivers out there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Much love. Peace, YouTube.